Let's go Eagles. The week has started off hot behind the scenes, and we've got some mixed feelings and emotions. Drama, speculation, silence, and a ticking clock. That's where we're at, Eagles fans. You're probably anxious to know what's next, hoping for that classic Howie Roseman comeback. Because, let's be real, it's been quiet. Too quiet. The kind of eerie calm that comes right before a hurricane. And with the NFL draft fast approaching, we could be looking at a storm of moves that reshape the core of this team, starting with some big names that have been hanging in limbo. I have an important topic to talk about and analyze today. And believe me, it looks like good things are coming. The Eagles are getting even stronger to win the Super Bowl again. And boy, do I believe we have a high capacity to get there. If you believe this too, hit that like button hard. And if possible, comment like this: Super Bowl 60 belongs to the Eagles. Now on to the news that will be making waves this week. Let's get right to the elephant in the room at NovaCare. Dallas Goedert. The silence surrounding his status is not only strange, it's deafening. No guarantees in his contract, no clear future laid out by Nick Sirianni or Howie, just a bunch of vague PR buzzwords and interviews. Remember that big $43 million deal Trey McBride got? That changed the market. And now here we are, with a tight end who is still elite, still in his prime, and still here. But for how long? We heard they wanted a fourth-round pick for him. Let that sink in. A fourth. And yet no one is taking the bait. So are the Eagles bluffing? Hoping for a draft night advantage? Because here's the truth. When the draft is over and teams lose their ideal TE prospects, the phone may start ringing. And if Goedert leaves on a low-end deal, or worse, if we're forced to take a tight end sooner than expected, it's going to hurt. Fans aren't ready to hear that Johnny Wilson or some WRTE hybrid is going to come in and fill Goddard's shoes. That's not the reality right now. Wilson is raw. He's a project. And Philly doesn't have the luxury of time at tight end. Meanwhile, there's also that cloud called Bryce Huff. We know it. You know it. The dude's gone after June 1st. That seems like a done deal. Another piece in the deconstruction phase that just feels like it's dragging on while the clock keeps ticking toward the draft. And speaking of that draft, oh boy, this year's got an energy to it. This isn't like past years where we were zoning in on one or two clear targets. Right now, anything feels possible. Safety? Definitely a glaring hole. Defensive tackle? Don't rule it out, even if it sounds crazy to go first-round defensive tackle for the third time. Howie's cooking something, that's for sure. They've got cap planning to do with guys like Jalen Carter, Jordan Davis, and maybe even Moro Ojomo. Long-term moves are in play. This isn't just about filling holes for 2025, it's about 2026 and 2027 too. And if drafting another DT now keeps that cycle moving, then yeah, it's on the table. And what about trading back from that 32nd pick? It's been floated. But let me be real. Unless we're getting a first-rounder next year, that's a no for me. At 32, you're sitting at the edge of the first round, and plenty of teams will be looking to jump up and snag their guy. The Eagles need to strike while that iron is hot. This is the moment to get aggressive. They didn't go big in free agency. That means the pressure is on to snag top-tier rookie talent. And you know what's lurking underneath it all? That secondary. It's a puzzle. And Vic Fangio just gave us a massive piece. Cooper DeJean, locked in at slot corner. That's right. Fangio believes in him so much he said he expects Cooper to become the highest-paid nickel in NFL history if he keeps playing like he has. That outside corner experiment? Dead. And while that gives the Eagles a definitive answer at one spot, it also raises new questions about depth. Because without Avonte Maddox, and with Adoree Jackson being the only real slot-experienced backup, they're thin.
But hold on, let's not forget about Kelee Ringo. There's a real possibility he's pushing for CB2 alongside Adoree, and the Eagles have been busy scouting corners like Maxwell Hairston, Jacob Parrish, and Trey Amos, all versatile, inside-outside guys. That screams one thing: Vic Fangio wants flexibility. He's building this secondary his way, and that's going to mean some draft picks coming in to round things out. Back to safety for a sec. Nicky Manwari is catching eyes. Big dude, 6 feet 1 inch, 220, runs a 4.38. That's rare. That's the kind of athlete who changes a defense. And if he's there, man, you gotta make the call. Malachi Starks too, even if his 40 time wasn't flashy, his instincts, his versatility, they're there. You land one of these guys, and suddenly the future of your secondary isn't just stable, it's electric. You've got your guy on a rookie deal, and it opens the door to re-signing Reed Blankenship long-term. All this circles back to the big question, what is Howie's strategy this year? Is this about win now, or setting up a core that dominates for the next 5 years? Because right now, we're seeing the Eagles scout like a team that's playing the long game, drafting for expiring contracts, looking at depth pieces that can develop under elite vets. And if that's the case, don't be shocked if they go defense heavy early. Not sexy, not flashy, but necessary. The truth is, Eagles fans are stuck in limbo right now. We're waiting, watching, hoping that all this silence means something big is brewing behind the scenes. We've seen Howie pull off magic before, and this year, he better. Because this roster, it's close. It's not perfect, but with the right draft moves, it could be scary. So what do you think, Birds fans? Is Goddard on his way out? Should we be going safety in the first round? Or are you more worried about another defensive tackle clogging up our draft board? And do you trust Howie to strike big on draft night, or are we in for another cautious, slow burn-off season? Let me know what's on your mind. Drop it in the comments. And here's the twist that's got everyone scratching their heads. The Eagles aren't tipping their hand. No leaks, no heavy lean toward any one position, just a bunch of smoke, mirrors, and private visits that are giving us more questions than answers. It's wild because this front office has always had patterns, and yet here we are in a draft cycle where literally every position is on the board. That's not just strategic, it's a sign that this team is looking at a multi-year window, not a one-year patch job. Let's take a deeper look at that draft strategy. Joey Shakes made a great point. Are we drafting for this year or for who's about to walk out the door next year? Because yeah, safety might be the obvious gap now, but when you pull back the lens, you see a domino effect. Jordan Davis, year 3. Decision time is coming. Are we picking up his 5th-year option? If not, what's the succession plan? And Bryce Huff, once he's gone post-June, who replaces that production? You can't count on a bunch of one-year rentals and hope they all stick. So if the Eagles go defensive line again early, as much as fans might groan, it could be the smartest play on the board. Then you've got the edge guys like Uche and Aguilari. Both are here on short-term deals, and while the void years give flexibility for re-signing, that's far from guaranteed. Howie might already be hedging those bets by looking at guys like Walter Nolan. If you're stacking long-term, high-upside defenders next to Jalen Carter, you're building something sustainable, something monstrous for the future of this defense. And don't even get me started on the cornerback picture again because it's fascinating. Dejon being locked into the slot gives this unit clarity, finally. But the ripple effect is real. There's no depth behind him. And Vic Fangio knows it. That's why they're bringing in all these hybrid corners from day 2 and 3 projection ranges. Guys that can slide in wherever needed. That tells you they're hunting versatility. If you can play slot, outside, and special teams, you're on Fangio's radar.